In this video, I want to prove to you that you don't need thousands of words of copy to sell a product or a service, right? You literally only need 5. In this example, once I tell you which example this is, you'll immediately recognize it, and I want to talk a bit more about it because it's actually really fascinating. So my name is Wilco Kreij, and if you've seen me online, you probably did see the long form sales pages. You probably did see the massive long pages where I tell the backstory of why we created the product and why it'll help our products. But really what it all comes down to, there's like one core message, and if you do that one part right, you don't need all that copy as much. If you do use it, because you still can, it just adds to it. But the core message, those 5 words, or maybe a couple more, a couple less, depending on your exact sentence, will do most of the selling. And the example is actually coming from Steve Jobs, because when Steve Jobs created the iPod the first time, right? He did something completely different, and not just because the product was new, or the product was like people never seen that before. Like there were still Walkmans and Discmans and stuff like that, right? So when the iPod came out, iPod came out, it was one clear message. He said, thousands of songs in your pocket. That's it. Thousands of songs in your pocket. And why is that so special? What Apple did was genius. That first of all, the business or the product wasn't the hero in the story, right? The hero in the story is the consumer, the person itself, right? Like that's like the same thing as like Nike does that as well. Like they put the actual customer as the hero in all their advertising. Apple did the exact same thing, right? 1,000 songs in your pocket. And that simple word, that simple message changed everything, because it wasn't about the fact that you can easily upload all your songs using a USB, or it wasn't about that there's a screen on it. It wasn't about the fact that it was you have 20 hours of battery time, or all that nonsense. Like those were all blah blah, right? It was all about the one thing that the customer really wanted, nothing else. 1,000 songs in your pocket. And the reason why I want to share that with you today, because I see so many businesses and entrepreneurs make this mistake where they, when they try to convince someone, they go all about the blah blah, the features, the reason why it's so awesome, like the battery time or the big screen, right? Or if you maybe you have a software company, like the specific features, you can export this file and this integration there, or if you have a course, we have this module there, the module there. That's all secondary, right? Your core message should be what is in it for your customer. Explain it in a way that they understand, right? So they could have also said like, you get 1,000 MP3s in one device, right? But again, then it's about the device, right? But it should be about the customer. So 1,000 MP3s in your pocket, that's already better. But then who wants an MP3? No one wants an MP3 in your pocket. That's not what it's about. Again, right? Like people don't want the drill. People want the hole in the wall, right? So it's so easy as a business owner or as a marketer or as an entrepreneur to think from it from our own perspective. But what does it really mean to the end consumer, right? Because usually whatever product we're selling, like the actual end result is something completely different, right? And that's sometimes it's hard to realize that, sometimes hard to recognize it as well, but it is super powerful when you get it right? So what does it actually mean practically speaking, right? It means that instead of just trying to convince people to buy your product or service with all kind of features or reasoning why your product is awesome, look at it from a completely different perspective. Look at it from their perspective. What would it actually do for them in their lives, right? And my guess is that first of all, you're not really going to know, right? So to make it even more practical, what I would suggest is to reach out to some of your existing clients and tell them about the experience. Like, hey, why did you buy this product, right? What did it do, right? And what did it mean for you? How did it feel? Like, get into their minds, and then maybe you'll find the core message of like why they really got your product or your service, what it meant for them, right? Maybe you're selling some kind of e-commerce product. Maybe you're selling t-shirts, but a t-shirt isn't to keep you warm, right? Like that's functional, but perhaps they're buying it because they believe in whatever it stands for. Maybe there's your business stands for something, and it's for like empowering women, maybe whatever it is, right? But maybe that is what it does for them, and then that would be your core message. Those 5 words or 3 words or 10 words, doesn't matter. That would be your main thing. That's how you convince prospects to like, this is why we're like, if this is what we are, and this is, if you like this, then we are a good fit for you. And yes, then once people start, to pay attention, you can convince them of all these things that you feel are important to know. Because I'm sure Apple did that as well, right? When they sold the iPod, I'm sure they also told all these things about battery time and all things, but that's secondary, right? First, they have a short, compelling message that puts the audience as the hero, right? In the language that they understand, in a way where like how it impacts their life. 1,000 songs in your pocket.